Welcome to the Rising Consciousness Show, 20 minutes of soulful insights and powerful tools to elevate your life experience and create with higher clarity, intention, and vision. I'm Tara Antler, intuitive healer and soul coach.
And I'm King Gabriel, spiritual teacher and practitioner. And we are the co-founders of Ascension Academy of Life,
a global center for spiritual growth, intuitive healing, and soul alignment.
Get ready to blast off. Hello and welcome. Hi.
We're so excited to be back. It's been a little break, a little pause, a little hiatus, but for a very good reason. As with any pause in life, there's always a moment of rebirth. And I feel like that's a big thing that's happening in many people right now. It's what we have just gone through. And we just launched something really exciting and amazing that we're going to share with you. And it comes from that space of being able to rest, to actually take a pause for a moment, to slow everything down, maybe let go of the old, maybe rebirth some of the new. And so here we are.
Start afresh, dive deep. Come with something new. So, in all that, we have something to share with you. We have an update.
Yeah.
And the update is that we've made a huge change to our main group. Right? You want to share about that main group change?
Yeah. So we celebrated 5 years in the celebration and beginning of our large Facebook group. And it grew very, very quickly. It's well over 8,000 members in there. And we were just feeling it was time for regeneration. It was time for a re-evolution of something. And we were really sitting in the stillness and the quiet and asking, what is that? How shall we serve? What's the highest and best good that we can bring forth to humanity at this time? And we were in the vehicle, I think, headed to, I don't even know where we were headed.
To North Bay that day, to North Bay. We were having a little mini mastermind.
Yes, which is like one of our favorite places to do these things now with the kiddos is in the vehicle. And so we were thinking about and feeling into and intuitively tapping into what is that thing? Like, what is it that we're meant to bring forth? And so we took the group and we renamed it. And with that came a whole relaunch of something else, which is creating a movement now for a lot of people, for business owners, visionaries, entrepreneurs, the mompreneurs, the parentpreneurs, the CEOs. And so you want to announce the name of it?
Yes, the new name, without further ado, drum roll, is Restful and Successful by the Ascension Academy of Light. Okay?
Restful and Successful.
Restful and Successful. And our little tagline is flow into growth, just like a river flows, right? So flow into growth. And the point of our Restful and Successful idea is that you can be successful, you can thrive, you can do your thing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be at the cost of everything else in your life. You can rest, you can feel rested, you can feel calm, you can feel still, you can have yourself feel like you're still on course while taking on all of your activities, all of your business building, everything that you're doing. And we believe that that has the ability to bring the spiritual aspect of life towards the business and make everything flow in harmony. And that's where we're at right now. So Restful and Successful stands for that ability to transcend the old ideas of separating business and spiritual life and bringing them together to recognize that the spiritual life actually enhances, and if not enhances, actually supplements or complements the business activity. Yeah.
And I would say, after talking to a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, and CEOs, something that we kept hearing was that a lot of people were just feeling really either burnt out, stretched, burning the candle at both ends, and feeling like they wanted to continue to create success in their life and their family and their business, but not at the sacrifice of anything else. So not at the sacrifice of their health, their well-being, maybe their fitness regimen, maybe their family, time with their children, travel, and all the other beautiful things that they love to do. And for many of us, we're grateful that we're able to merge our purpose, what we're here to do, into the business. And yet you still feel on. This is the thing that I found as an entrepreneur, is that you could always be on. You could always be working on your business. There's always a new project, a new idea, a back end thing to complete, something to be tending to. There's always something. And so without that pause, we could just go. And if you're inspired, you will just go. If you're lit up by your purpose, you will just go. And so sometimes this is where I think a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners, they get to that hit the wall moment sometimes, where they're going, striving, doing all the things, because we want to be successful. They want to create that next level expansion or more abundance, or maybe they have a team or whatever their aspiration is. They're going for it. And there's something to be said for going for something. I think that's a missing piece for some people.
Yeah, the culture of go-getter, being a go-getterism.
Yeah, right? Like we need that to be able to go get it, go and get something, to make moves. Yeah. And yet not at the cost or sacrifice of yourself, your energy, your family, and everything else that's important to you. Yeah. And so we were really breathing some life into that and contemplating that. We were like, we want to create a movement. Like we want to create a new conversation that says, yes, you can have the success. Yes, you can be successful, not at the cost or compromise of all the other things that are important to you. So what would need to happen? And we're like, well, people need to chill out. People need to rest. People need to rest. They need a siesta.
And really, it's a cultural shift as well as a shift honoring the human physiology and everything as well. Because the cultural shift is that you're bringing values of yours towards your workplace that allows you to feel rested and connected with those that you work with. Mm-hmm. So then it's not a resistant attitude of going to work, feeling like, oh, I'm going to work. And it's difficult and it's challenging and there's resistance. There's none of that anymore. It's just like your regular life that you're bringing there. And the next element, as I said, is not only the culture, but the attitude and the mentality that we bring towards it. Because even though we change the culture, the next part of that is that when we step into this new phase of being, or how we're going to be, we're looking at ourselves in general, how we feel about success. Mm-hmm. What does success really mean to us? And who are we going to be in stepping into that new idea of success? Mm-hmm. Right? So it's a bit of a shift, right? It is a paradigm shift in a way, but it is a shift that's definitely going to aid us in becoming better, I believe, as not only a small community, but as a society. Mm-hmm. When people start to take it on and look at, this is really what I value. I want to bring these values towards everything I do. I want to live authentically. Mm-hmm. That's really what it is. Being able to live in all areas of life in a way that suits you. And I did a post the other day in the group that was supposed to be funny. It didn't go so funny, but it was, I'll talk about it for a bit. The post was, this is how some business owners show up for work, and it's a lady in her suit with her hand in the air watching Zoom, and her business partners are all excited. And then the next part of the post was, and this is how they show up for their families. And she's supposed to have like black circles around her eyes and be like all drained in a sense, because that's sometimes the attitude when some business owners go home, right? It's like, oh, they want to be doing something else basically. And it was supposed to be that, but it was interpreted slightly differently in that I took off the black circles when I discussed it with Tara for a bit. And it was interpreted as if it was about the clothes she was wearing because she was in her robe and stuff. But the real message of it was just the attitude from that one state to the other. And really, we want to sort of eliminate that bipolarism, that bipolar attitude in a sense where we go to work and it's all happy time, gung-ho, feeling great, feeling excited, and then when we come home and we deal with our family, we have that lackluster attitude. We want it to be the same across the board, where we're bringing our truest selves to everything we do, and we feel rested and connected to everything we do as one, as a whole. We're making it more holistic, and that's the idea really behind it as well, right? Making all areas of life really thrive, really successful, and really feel connected to our value system, to the things that we really care about, to what's important to us and meaningful to us. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think when we do that too, it lowers stress on every level, right? Yeah. Because if you are well rested, if your nervous system is tended to, then you have the energy and the life force to then be able to enjoy when you're done work, when you're done with your business, when you're done with those tasks in the day, that you can be fully present with your family or whoever is around you, whatever's important. You can be fully present with yourself and not feel exhausted, flat out exhausted, because we hear that from a lot of people where they're like, whoo, like it was such a full day. And sometimes we feel energized by the day, but sometimes people feel depleted.
Yeah.
And then they have nothing left for the things that are meaningful. And that's the whole point of why people do what they do in the first place, is to be able to enjoy their life.
Well, at least that's what we say.
That's
a
what
lot of
people
the time
say.
we say that.
You don't want to wait till retirement in order to enjoy those things. You want to be able to enjoy life now. Life is happening now. And so this is a whole paradigm shift that we're bringing forward, because you can have both. And it seems like a paradox and it seems like a juxtaposition, and it is.
Yeah.
And I believe if we go back to the European cultures, or when I think about in Mexico, there still are certain stores that they close at that siesta time.
I believe it's 3 p.m. some places. They
and
just
for like
close and have
2-3
a
hours.
siesta.
And they don't open back up until the weather cools down a little bit, and then they come back for their evening time. But I don't think we have to like have it structured exactly like that, but it's for each of us to be able to discern and decide, what does my ultimate life look like? What does the ultimate hours of work look like? What does the ultimate time that I have with me and my family and my friends and people that are important to me, what does that all look like? And we can easily be able to create that when we are well rested, when our nervous systems are tended to, as opposed to when most people are feeling really fried and frayed at all ends, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to drop a little line here that I've read in the past, and some of you may have come across already, but there's a saying that goes, rest doesn't come from sleeping, but from waking. And really, it's true in this case, right? In this case, rest does not come from taking a million naps, because sometimes when we nap, we get up and we feel more tired than ever, honestly, right? When we go on with our day. But it comes from waking up, from recognizing what's important, from following the things that are really true desires for us and inspiring for us, and activating, motivating, enlightening us in that way. Those are the things that are important to us, and those are the things that really light us up to perform. So when we're talking about restful and successful, we're really talking about finding what's meaningful and following that path towards your success, but also paying close attention to the fact that you're not losing yourself at all. You're feeling into what's important, what's meaningful, what's at the depth of your being, what's calling you forward, what's your purpose here, that sort of thing. You're serving, but you're serving on a higher level and serving for those that you are in business with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that every part of your business and your life will get better and feel more invigorated by you being able to incorporate both. So you're not giving up one for the other. You're not saying, I'm just going to go do nothing all day. I mean, I would never be able to do that personally. I'd never be able to just sit back and be like, that's it. I'm not going to do anything. You know, there are days, there are moments I have like that, but I couldn't do that. Even Gabriel's watched me, into a day. Yeah. I really have to like put myself in that do nothing mode, you know? Yeah. And then at the end of it, I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm so revved, I'm ready to go. So it's not about doing nothing all day. Yeah. It's about creating the pauses in the day, the meaningful moments in the day, the times to go meditate or take a nap or do something that recalibrates your system and allows you to re-energize. And it's not about giving up the success either, to be like, well, I'm not going to, I have to do this and then I'm going to sacrifice because I'm not busy. Busy is one of those things that we all have adopted that in our culture, that the busier you are, the more successful you are. That's not the case at all. I would actually say, and I've had varying moments like this in my life, the most successful all around, holistic, successful times in my life have been at times where I was only working, quotation marks, 2 to 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
For real. The rest of the time I was tending to the kids. I was being with myself. We were traveling. We'd be doing different things. We'd be doing activities as a family. Resting, I was sleeping, you know, that was for me, that was my most well-rounded, successful time period. Yeah. Now, if I look back to when I was in my 20s, right out of the gates, I had so much energy. I was like, let's go, let's give her, right? But I also didn't have kids at that time. So you also have to start looking at like, what's the season and cycle of your life that you're in? Do you have children? Are they younger? Have they left the nest already? Are you solo? Do you have a partner? Are you married? You have to start looking at some of these elements in your life, because that's also going to determine how you set up the rest of your life, right? Yeah. The day to day, how much rest time, how much time do I allocate towards all these other things, not overly structuring it, but really honoring. And I think that's the big piece that I'm excited about, is really honoring all parts of your life, honoring what is meaningful to you, because that's what we do all of this for. To honor all of it, to enjoy all of it, to live into all of it, to experience all of it. What are we creating if we can't experience it, you know?
Yeah.
And so we're really excited for this new evolution and this next generation, this movement, regeneration in this movement. I think it's going to be really fun. And so we want you to keep your eyes open and
your ears open too.
For new content,
yes,
where we're going to be diving deeper into conversations about restful and successful, things that you can do wherever you're at in your life, in the cycle, in the season that you're in. And we're still bringing the rising consciousness. We're still bringing in
it's important.
Spirituality and meditation and intuition and healing. All that stays there. That doesn't go away, because that's the foundation of everything. I truly believe that internal inner work that we do, that is the most monumental stuff that we could be doing. I actually heard something about this the other day. Maybe I could have this as a topic for the next time, but I saw this post and they were talking about, I wish that spiritual teachers should be the highest paid professionals in the world. And there was a part of me that was like, I kind of agree with that. But then I was like, aren't we all doing our spiritual work? Like, once you find your purpose and once you find what your zing is, what you're really here to do, and you are contributing to humanity to raise the vibration for the whole planet, I think we all should be making the highest amounts of income and prosperity, because we're in alignment with ourselves.
Yeah, that should really be a reflection, actually. And it depends on the level that we're bringing as well, because as far as I see it, spiritual teachers are the highest paid already, right? In that they enrich their consciousness and share messages that strengthen that force, that energy that's in them. So they're more aware of that energy while doing it. But in terms of the materialization of that,
yeah, it tends to be the least amount for a lot of spiritual practitioners. Yeah.
And that's not really a big deal. It's just that we as business people also have to learn to run the business.
That's right.
That's a part of that. That's a successful part, right? That has to be learned as well. And sometimes we tend to separate the two, but it's really not two separate things. And it's about us starting to be wise in the monetization of what we're doing, so that it does turn out well and it reflects the effort and the the value that we're really bringing forward. Yeah,
I would agree. And that's part of the movement too in this piece that we wanted to share with you, is that for anyone who listens to this podcast and tunes into our work, if you have found that calling, that soul purpose that lights you up where you are, that by your work you're making a difference in the world, we want all of you to be able to be the wealthiest, the most abundant, the most prosperous, because you can do even more good in the world when you have that monetary piece taken care of. So we're still going to be talking about all those things. And we're going to be talking about business and how to be more successful and how to have more abundance coming in. Because I do believe if you have wealth in the hands of conscious people who are making a difference in the world by their purpose, we can do even more great things in the world. And so we have a resource too for you, by the way. So in all this movement creation that's been happening here, and a new birth of a mission, we've created this resource for you all called the Restful and Successful Resource. There, simple. Restful and Successful Resource. I was trying to remember. I was like,
you got it.
That was it. And it's like a mini magazine, but it's a resource, and it's awesome because it has a meditation in there. There's a checklist for how to create an internal, external environment to be more conducive to this restful and successful conversation. There's a really beautiful nervous system playlist. There's a bonus section on success. And there's a few other little tidbits in there. So if you want access to that resource, click the link below in the description of this podcast episode, and it'll take you directly to that page, and it'll get sent to you by email. And so it's a really beautiful resource, and we hope that you enjoy it.
Yes, indeed.
Awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in today. We're looking forward to bringing forth some new energy and some higher vibrational conversations around restful and successful.
Yes, and we hope you have an excellent rest of your day, and share this podcast with your friends, right? Because they too can be restful and successful.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Thank you so much for being here. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of the Rising Consciousness Show. For more high vibration conversations, meditations, energy activations, and tips and tools on creating your most exceptional life, we lovingly invite you to connect with us at academyoflight.com. www.academyoflight.ca. The website is www.academyoflight.ca. It is time to create your heaven on earth experience, and we look forward to sharing this beautiful journey with you.
You're listening to Rising Consciousness. Yeah.
Woo!
Woo!